This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
That deer smelled that sweet freedom. Want to see his children again. My stepdad, he had other plans. See, he beat that deer to the road because he wanted it more. He got down on one knee. My stepdad unloaded the fire of Brad Pitt in the war movie on him. Best intro ever.
Still cracks me up.
I am such a great storyteller.
You are.
It's facts. It's the 29th of December, 2020. It's the 217 Recovery Podcast. My name is Corey Winfield.
Marney Winfield.
Yeah, see, we're together. We're married. Yeah. Thanks. Appreciate it. I know. I don't know what she's thinking. I'm thinking she's going to snap out of it any minute, but might as well roll with it.
Right?
Hey, she wants to get married. Let's do it. Fine. Okay.
Like I dragged you there.
You know what you're doing, right? Okay. No, we're having a good time, though. Today was an interesting day. I felt quite a few different types of emotions, types of ways.
You had another in-law experience.
I did have another in-law experience. I love being married. It's fun.
It was a surprise in-law visit.
Yeah, those are the best, aren't they?
I guess.
Oh man, I can't wait till you get a couple.
Bring it on.
No, so your father lives in Michigan, but it's a few hours away, and your brother lives in California, which is a couple days away driving. But I think he takes airplanes, which is very cool. But he's been in town for a minute, but he is in town. Your dad wanted to see him. Everything's closed. It's not like they can go to a restaurant. Whitmer's, she's shutting it down here in Michigan, so restaurants, So there's no place for them to really meet. And so Marnie's got a place in there in Traverse City.
Yeah.
Let's just call her. Of course, I was like, well, if they buy us food, they can do whatever they want. So the food was bought. But no, I let you guys just kind of chill out there and do your thing. And I wasn't really trying to be in the middle of your family thing because, I don't know, it was your family thing. And I was just told, hey, you can come get some pizza. And that's all I was. Okay, cool. I don't know. It was a little weird, but.
Well, it was a very unexpected visit, and I was grateful that we actually had the space for my dad to come up, and it's semi-comfortable, not a lot of room, but enough, for everybody to have a place to sit and chat for a while and catch up. And this was like my dad's opportunity to have Christmas with my brother and his granddaughters and his daughter-in-law. So I'm glad that we could provide that for them, to be able to visit, because we got to see my brother and my nieces the day before. So it was a quick visit. But yeah, my dad, he's an interesting fella.
He's nice.
He's nice.
But it's like I said, it was a couple hours away driving. And so we were like, let's just tell them to spend the night here, because by the time everybody gets done visiting, it'll be 9 o'clock, and we're going to make them leave. It's dark, it's cold, and we have an extra bedroom. It'd be kind of rude if we were just like, all right, well, see you later. Have a good drive. So he stayed the night, and then when I woke up, he was here, and you were gone. So I went out, and he was making coffee, and he's like, I need to talk to you. And I was like, oh, Jesus. Like, I already married your daughter, man. It's too late. I tried to tell her. She didn't know what she was doing. I tried, but I don't know. She sees something that nobody else does. And he's just like, all right, well, I didn't say that to him, but I was like, okay, cool. But he kind of was telling me a story. And, of course, your dad is in recovery as well. And he didn't have such an easy life. And there's reasons why he chose to drink to numb his pain and to free himself of the world. Is what we think we're doing, but really we're just creating more horrible situations for ourselves. But he realized that, and he's been sober 13 years, something like that now. But he was still, as he said, working the steps. He doesn't work the steps, but he's like, I think there's a number for this one, what I just did. And he was talking about some baseball cards and a situation with your brother, and it made your brother pretty upset. And he's never forgotten that. Your dad hasn't. He probably has thought about it 10 times, maybe 100 times more than your brother has.
Mm-hmm.
But he was still bothered by it. So he just happened to be at some auction or something, some estate sale.
Estate sales, when he said.
And boom, here's a bunch of unopened like cards. Like they were like complete sets, which is like everybody in the league, you know. And so he got them, and he gave them to your brother last night. And he was telling me the story about how it happened and how, you know, he when he moved out of that house and things, and how they kind of got lost or stolen or whatever happened to them. You know, the fact is nobody's going to ever know who took them, if they were left. Nobody's going to know. You don't. Well, until I build my time machine. But I don't even know if I would use it to go back and track down baseball cards.
Right.
Important things to do. But, so he kind of was, you know, coming to terms with that, and, you know, he got done telling the history of it, and I was just like, well, do you feel better? And he said, absolutely. You know, and it's just, that's what working the steps will do for you. You'll realize that even if you don't work the steps every day, or if you don't go to AA meetings all the time, at least you're aware of them. And at least you know, hey, this is something that's been on my mind, and this is how I can make it better for myself, you know, to forgive myself for these cards being lost or stolen or whatever. I have a chance now to make it up. And there's different ways and different things, different situations for everybody. But the way he chose was to, okay, well, here I have a chance. I'll buy these cards and then I'll give them to him. And he said it wasn't a Christmas present or anything like that. It was just a gift, like, hey, here, you know, and it was for him. Like, your brother probably, hey, thanks, you know, I don't really care anymore. But it doesn't matter, you know. I told your dad, I was like, he could have taken those cards right out in our driveway and just burned them all, and it wouldn't matter, you know, because he did that for himself. And it's moments like that, you know, me being 2 years sober, it's like, okay, you know, like I'll probably have that one day as well. And they won't be baseball cards, I'll guarantee you that, but it could be something with my nephew. Who knows? But it'll be paying it forward or making myself feel better for maybe something I've done in the past. And
yeah, I think he wanted to put something that was an upset between my brother and him kind of to rest. And that was how he felt like he could do it. And, you know, obviously it wasn't to replace anything, because that can't be done. But it was the gesture. And it was that I think my dad was just acknowledging that he recognized how upset that you know, event upset him, and that he was sorry that it happened and he couldn't fix it. But this was his way of acknowledging that, you know, he's wanted to at least tell him he's sorry in a way, even if it's not those words. Because lots of times we don't like using those words, because it's like, for what, you know? I'm sorry somebody else stole your cards. You know, you can't really trace back to what you're even supposed to say you're sorry for. So it's just, it was an acknowledgement thing, and I think that it was a good move on his part.
And he said something along the lines of, I told him when I gave him to him that I hope he can feel the true meaning behind this. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I don't think that those words have been said truer, you know? And
yeah.
That's what they were meant for. And just, it wasn't the cards, had nothing to do with it. You know, it was the, hey, you know, I'm sorry kind of thing. And more like he's forgiven himself, which is very cool.
Yeah.
But I told him, I was like, yeah, there's something like that with my family too. And it had to do with baseball cards, matter of fact. And I used to collect them. I used to mail off cards to get them signed by the players. And I realized they were just stamping them, or they would have other people sign, you know, like the real big superstars they wouldn't sign a card that came in the mail. And I'd return an envelope. But it was still fun, and it was something I loved, man. I'd be in school like, I can't wait to get home. I got to see if, you know, Jim Kelly sent that card back, or if I got that Bruce Smith card, or that Darryl Talley, or, you know, Jerome Bettis. And then I realized that they're all fake, and they were just ruining the value of my cards. And I was like, okay, that's dumb. Never mind. These don't even look the same. These look exactly the same. That's a stamp, you know, like, damn it. But it's all good. It was still fun. And I kind of told him that too. You know, it's like those baseball cards were part of his childhood. Sure. You can't take that away. You know, like when I was out 12 years old doing my paper route, you know, saving up to rent some video games and to buy some baseball cards, that was my life. That's how I grew up. That was fun. Like, do I have the cards now? No. but I don't need them. I have the memory of them. It was the actual going through the motions of buying the cards. And, your dad was like, yeah, you're right. It was probably the same for him. And I was like, the baseball card, yeah. And I told him, I was like, now they're not even worth anything. Look it up. I was so disappointed. I had like some really good rookie cards. And I don't know, a few years ago, I looked them up and I'm like, wait, I bought that for $10 back in 1992. Now it's worth 38 cents. That's bullshit. I knew I wasn't going to make my millions in baseball cards, but they're not even worth anything. I mean, unless you got some like Babe Ruth or some like long ass time ago, like they destroyed 2 houses in the process and found a little box with this card in it. Okay, sure. But not everybody's going to have that. So, it was good though that we had a talk and we kind of, I don't want to say bonded.
You can say bonded.
All right, well, we bonded a little, but then I started like talking about some situations too that I'm not going to talk about I can talk about on the podcast, I guess. The hell, if he listens, he listens. But there's some family stuff going on, and it involves 2 people, the opposite of what we just did, get married. And I don't know, man, it's tough. There's some substance use going on, and I don't know. I think that, and not that the family wants me to do anything about it, and there's nothing I can do about it, and it's not my situation to get involved in either. The family member I love dearly, but it's not my thing. If advice is asked, I can give some, but I don't think either one of these people are bad people. I think substance use comes into play and it changes. I know that for a fact. I know 100% for a fact it changes people. I am not the same person when I'm drinking, and you are not. And you were told this, I'm sure, many times as well as I have been.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the early stages when someone's told, hey, you're going to lose everything, and they think, ha, 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 not me. It doesn't happen to me, because we all think it. And then, boop, it starts happening to you. Oh, okay, well, I have a problem. And this person came to us, kind of both of us, I believe, and was like, "Yeah, I think I have a problem," and so I'm just gonna drink beer. Wait, you just said you think you have a problem with alcohol, but you're just gonna drink beer? Huh? Hey, I have a problem with ice cream. I'm just gonna drink milkshakes. Like, what, dude? Like, I don't know. And again, I'm just like, oh, okay, that's where he's at. I was at that same stage too.
Yeah.
Like it'll get out of control. Maybe not as fast, but you're still getting the result. If, for example, I drink a 6-pack a day, and I also drink a pint. Well, eventually you're gonna have to up that. Just the name of the game to get that same effect that you're looking for. So it'll go from, well, now I'm doing 12-pack and a pint, and you're like, I could get a 5th and only drink 2 beers. And then, at least for me, that's just kind of how it went. And then it got out of control real quick with the hard liquor. It does. At least for me, it got out of control real quick. So put the brakes on that when I was like 23, 22, something like that. I was like, you know what? No more hard liquor, just beer. Now, if I would go to a bar or something, somebody was doing some shots, sure. But I didn't really go to the bar that much. And so at home, I just drank beer, and I would get like a 40 ounce, and I'd smoke some weed. And, oh, man, it was cool. And then I started to kind of turn it around. And then I moved to Kalamazoo, which took me away from family, everybody. And then I was isolating. And so I went back to the 12-pack a day. And then I still didn't really get back into the hard liquor until I moved away to Arkansas. And then that was, here's your ticket. You're getting on the fast train. Mm-hmm. But it was horrible. But yeah, so saying that, oh, I think I have a problem now. I'm just gonna drink beer. I don't know. Like I said, I was at that stage too, where it worked for a while, and I wasn't as bad, but I was still not fun to be around. Mm-hmm. I still had relationships that were cut off because they didn't want to be around me, friends, relatives, and I was drinking just beer. But to me, it was, well, it's not hard liquor, so it's different. Mm-hmm. No, that's alcohol in the beer. Okay, well, now you're drinking 18 beers a day, and you used to drink 6 and a fifth. Now, well, okay, and you cut out the fifth, but you replace it with more beer. Because it doesn't stop till I get to that pass out drunk kind of thing. You don't miss that, do you?
Not at all. Not at all.
And then you start telling people, I can't sleep without it.
Oh, gosh.
And seriously, I couldn't.
No, I know.
I didn't know how to sleep.
It's a real thing. And it wasn't even, I think there was I couldn't remember a time where I actually fell asleep. It was just blacking out or passing out. It was not even actual sleep. And that's why people's bodies and you as a person just run that bleep down like The Walking Dead is because you are. Literally you have, your body's not resting at all. It's just, you're killing yourself and it's just a matter of time. And it's times like this and holidays and my gratefulness is just renewed every single time that I'm interacting with people and I'm me again, and I know that they recognize it. And my brother even said to me, he was like, I'm just going to guess. And he was way off. He's just like, there was about, he's like, I'm trying to guess about how long you were kind of out of it and distanced because of your drinking. And I was like, go for it. You won't hurt my feelings. I'm an open book today, bring it on. Once again, am I proud of my past? Absolutely not. But I'm willing to listen to whatever anybody has to say about it because they were there and they have their feelings about me during that time period are valid, to this day, because they felt that whatever they felt is what they felt, and I can't fix that. But he said, I'm going to go on a limb and I'm going to say it was a solid decade that you were gone, from the family. Just MIA. Nobody really knew what you were doing, where you were, who you were with, where you were working, if you were working, where you were living. It was like a ghost. And that's not how I was when I was a kid. That's not how I was when I was a young adult, a really young adult. Even into my mid-20s, I still was connected with my family. And then once I went over the edge or whatever you want to call it, the disease had me and I was too ashamed to deal with it. I didn't want to bother my family with the me that I was. I didn't want them to see that. And so I kept myself away from them and the world in general. The only people that I wanted to be around were people that were accepting of the fact that I was living my life like how I was. And those were not healthy people either, obviously. And so it was a vicious cycle. And those of you listening, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's a sad, scary, desolate place to be. But I don't have to live that way anymore. We say that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's a miracle, truly.
It is. And just don't give up on the people. Don't give up on yourself either. What Marney and I are talking about, we've been through the worst. And if you're just listening right now and this is your first podcast, you're like, what are you guys talking about? My mom told me to listen, or my aunt or my wife or whoever told me to listen to this, and this is just nonsense they're just talking about. I hear all this stuff all the time anyway. But don't give up on yourself, man or woman. It's not easy, and the thought of never drinking again, it's scary. They tell you to take it one day at a time. And I think it was Jason Vaughter who I told him, until I could really get it through my head that no, I can never have a drink again and be cool with it. I was never going to make it anywhere. Mm-hmm. I could go 4 months or whatever. It doesn't matter. I was never going to make it until I shut that shit down. It was boom. You're never going to drink again. You can't, Corey. And it was scary. And then I thought, okay, fine. I can't. And then came to terms with it. And now I don't ever want to drink again. It would take a lot of money to do that. And as far as I know, no one's going to write me a check for $1 million to drink a bottle of vodka. So you know what? Yeah, I'm not drinking again. And he's just like, oh, but one day at a time, you know. And hey, if that's what you got to do, that's fine. But for me, I had to come to terms with it, with myself, and be honest with myself that no, you can't ever drink again. Not 10 years from now, not 20 years from now. And trust me, you don't want to. Mm-hmm. And so far, so good.
Yeah. And the thing is, I mean, for so many years, you know, we idolized it. We worshipped alcohol or your drug or whatever it is. We needed it. I mean, it was not, we wanted it. We needed it. And when you live like that for so long, the idea of having to say, well, I'm never going to drink again is just unfathomable. It seems insane. You don't even want to say the words because it just makes you angry. But there comes a time where you'll change and the switch will flip and you're like, I don't drink anymore because I can't. And it just comes out of your mouth and you're just like, you don't really even need to think about it. It's almost a relief. It's like, I just don't do that anymore because I can't. Mm-hmm. And really in the whole scheme of things, what you're saying is not that big of a deal to like humanity. So you're saying you can't drink alcohol. Okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, that seems like it's a huge thing for us because our lives revolved around it. You know, drugs and alcohol was what we lived for every day from the second we woke up to the second we fell asleep. It was on our brain and in our blood. Yep. And so to change that and to be okay with it, and it can happen. It will happen to you if you keep trying and you keep putting yourself in spots where you're going to be okay and working towards living a life of recovery. That obsession will leave and life is so much better. And you're like, I can't picture myself with alcohol. I can't picture myself high. It's amazing. Until it happens to you, you can't get it, but you will.
And I'm glad you brought up the brain part because the brain will trick you. And I remember I was sitting in my therapist's office in Benton Harbor, Pana. He's a great guy. And he was telling me to sit down and tell me, he could tell I was frustrated. And he's like, what's going on today, Corey? But he's from Africa, so he talks weird. Hey, what's going on? Well, not like that even. That's the Irish leprechaun. But just, okay. So he says, Corey, sit down. What's going on? You know, I can tell something's bothering you. Tell me what's been going on. You know, so I told him something. And I don't know if I had to do with a girlfriend or something at the time. It was all her fault. He's like, okay, well, what's the thing before that upset you? Oh, well, this and my mom did this and that. Oh, okay. Well, tell me another one. What do you mean? Okay. All right. So I kept telling him some problems. He's like, do you see what all this has in common? I was like, that I'm hanging out with stupid people and I have people in my life that shouldn't probably be. And I started, he's like, no. It's like the one person, the one thing that you're not blaming. I was like, what, me? He's like, no, something bigger than you. I was like, bigger than, what are you talking about? You know, he's like, alcohol. It's like in all these situations, alcohol did play a factor. And not one time did you bring up alcohol was a problem. Mm-hmm. The alcohol, it was that you were drinking alcohol was none of these problems would have happened if you didn't drink alcohol.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. But my brain hides that. You know, it wasn't like I was purposely just leaving out alcohol, but no, the way your brain is like, no, this is my medicine. Let me put this over here, protect it, put a little seatbelt on it. Let's get this baby ready. This is important. Mm-hmm. Everything else, whatever. This right here is going to keep me alive. Mm-hmm. Got to protect it. And he said, you know, he's like, it's like you have a protective shield around it, and you're not letting anything get it. You know, and I really started thinking about that, and it's like, oh, okay, like that's what I'm battling against. And that's what we're battling against when we take on alcohol or other drugs as well. You know, like I'm sure heroin and meth are just as bad.
Oh yeah.
But it's that whole addiction thing that once you dig your feet in, it's hard to pull them out, but you can. Mm-hmm. And Marney and I are living proof of it. You know, there are people that are out there at your AA meetings, at your NA meetings, online Zoom meetings, you know, that will back up what Marney and I have said word for word. They might have different stories, but they have the same feeling. If they've been sober for some time, they know exactly what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. So here it is from two people, Plus, talk to whoever you want. I mean, it's not a lie. It just takes time. And don't give up on yourself. If you have a family member that's going through it, just don't give up on them. It might take them a minute. Maybe they're not at their bottom. You know, you have to hit bottom sometimes. And you think you're at bottom, and then you realize there's a basement, and then there's a cellar. And they just keep going. And that's the journey they have to go down. That's the journey Marney had to take. That's the journey I had to take. Your father had to take it as well, Marney. And when do you want to stop digging? And once they get to that point, and it's usually when they've tried everything their way and they just hit the bottom and they can't. And it sucks. And I don't know how I would feel watching somebody go through that. I think that would be very tough. A son, a daughter. I mean, what we put our parents through is pretty tough. But, you know, thank God they didn't give up on us totally.
Absolutely.
But yeah, if you need support, you know, there's different things you can reach out to if you need help. There's Hope Not Handcuffs. That's part of FAN, which is Families Against Narcotics. There's a link to their site at our site at 217recovery.com. You can go there and check it out and just kind of browse around a little bit and maybe do some reading, get some knowledge. But yeah, Hope Not Handcuffs is a great program. Read more about that. You know, we've partnered with them to help them get people to treatment, you know, using recovery coaches. So that's such a better way to go to treatment. I'm not even kidding. Like, I wish somebody would have picked me up like that. And there's no lectures being said. There's no awkward moment with the family member, you know. Like, I remember one time my mom took me to this one, and she's like, "Get out, get your stuff." And it was just, for me, it was more embarrassing to have my mom drop me off there, and she's just like, "What's going on here?" And, you know, it was just, it was a lot tougher. Emotionally, mentally, it was harder than if I just would have left the house and a recovery coach would have picked me up and taken me. And, you know, maybe on the way there, you know, I've been to a lot of treatment centers. So, like, some of them I take people to, I'm like, oh, yeah, this is what you can expect, you know, on the way there. I'm just kind of helping. If they've never been there before, I just kind of help them kind of get a little bit more comfortable with it. And, hey, man, it's a good thing what you're doing. And, you know, pump them up. And then when they get out, it's awesome to see them get out. The gentleman we had taken on the 23rd, right before Christmas, I still want to reach out to him and be like, how'd it go? You know, there was like a family surprise in there, you know, and just to see the night and day difference of somebody when they go to treatment and then boom, you know, a month later get out, it's night and day. And you just see that life in their eyes again, and the hope, and, you know, the things that they've been thinking about for the last 30 days about, here's the things I need to change, and boom, hey, now it's time to change them.
Yep.
So I really hope that, but I find out how that went. The big surprise that you had going.
Check in with them.
Yeah, I should. But do you want to talk about your day at all, or?
I had a long day. I had a really long day. No, it was good. I had the opportunity to be able to deliver a surprise pizza party to several of the recovery homes in Traverse City, donated by a kind lady that we know, we've gotten to know. Her family, Kim Young, and it was nice. They wanted she believes in in people in recovery and what they're trying to do, and she recognizes, you know, the hardships and emotionally that people feel while they're in the transitional houses, and something as simple as just as a little pizza party is just an acknowledgement that, you know, you're where you're supposed to be, and, you know, she applauds you, kind of thing, for being there and working on you and your recovery. And it doesn't happen overnight, but we would rather have you here than somewhere else. And that's the bottom line. And she wanted to send that message, and I was able to be a part of that. So it was a beautiful thing, and it was very well received, and they were very grateful. Signed a little thank you note, and yeah, it's stuff like that. Like, that's what I get to do in my day. So it's pretty sweet. But yeah.
Nice. felt rewarding.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, good. I'm glad that you're home.
Thanks.
Get the fireplace going.
Yeah.
Hanging out in the studio with my cat and my wife and fireplace. Yeah. Oh, and the video, because I've been working on the video from our wedding.
Yes.
I mean, there's like a really rough draft of it, but we're not going to put that out there. But I'm working on it, and it should be done tomorrow.
Tomorrow. So, or where are we going to post this?
That will be on our website.
That's awesome.
217recovery.com.
So the whole world can see our wedding?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yup. Sorry, I was trying to swallow hard. But yeah, so that'll be out there. I know there are a few people that were wanting to see it and wanted to know what the hell. Mm-hmm. But it was a really cool wedding. And if I can listen to that song one more time, Bryan Adams.
You've got to be going insane doing the editing on that. Okay.
Together we will be.
It's a great song.
It's a great song once, twice,
3 times
but
maybe.
when you're editing a video,
I can't even imagine. Anyway, he's pushing through it, and he's very diligent and persistent on getting it done. So I'm proud of him.
Did I ever tell you Bryan Adams spit on me?
No.
Yeah. A little summer of '69 action.
Oh, because you were that close.
Yeah, I was that close. I was in the front row. I told you that story.
I don't know. Janet Jackson sweat on me.
Ew. How do you know it was hers?
Because she was the only one performing up there.
And you got sprayed in the face?
No. That was actually just... I was...
Some guy?
No. No, I was exaggerating.
Hey, stop it back there.
I was trying to one-up you.
Oh.
I mean, would you rather be sweat on by Janet Jackson or spit on by Bryan Adams?
Well, it's probably not sweat from Janet Jackson. Like I said, it's probably a guy in aisle 3.
I was in aisle 3.
Oh.
That's the thing. That's what I was saying. It was an awesome concert. But anyway.
Maybe he had a shooter in front of you. Anyway, anywho. So he spit on me. Because I was like late and I had front row seats. And then my boss called and was like, hey, we got this remote in Fayetteville you got to do. And I'm like, but I'm going to Bryan Adams. He's like, cool. Well, you should get there in time. So I had to drive an hour up, do this remote broadcast thing, and then drive back and get there and flying in. I'm running up there, and they're just about to give someone else the seats. I'm like, whoa, it's my seats. Sit down. He's just like, thanks for showing up. And I'm like, yeah, thanks, buddy. And he starts into his Canadian stuff, and he starts jamming. I'm like, wow, this is good. Then next thing I know, he's like in the microphone, like, Summer of '69, and it just hits my lip, and I'm like, ugh.
I don't think that really happened.
It happened that way. We'll get Bryan on.
I really don't think that happened.
I can have him on.
Okay.
House publicist. I'm like, yeah, the guy he spit on in Fort Smith, Arkansas. I almost hurled. Yeah, it was a good time. It was fun.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the guy that my wife chooses the music to walk down to. No, he's got some really good songs, though, and
yeah.
It's not like he like spit a Louis at me. That'd have been disgusting. But no, just when it hit my lip, though, I was like,
I'm just picturing all this. It's hilarious. From. That's fine.
I don't know what he ate today. Yeah.
Anyway.
Good times.
Yeah.
Now we're in heaven. Doodaloo. Baby, you're all that I want. I don't even know that song, but I like it.
You're just gonna start serenading everybody.
Lying here in my arms, gonna take some spit from my mouth and put it on your lip.
Oh, no, he's gonna do the lyric replacement here.
Yeah, my spit's coming for you. Sound effects.
Let's wrap this up here.
All right, thanks for listening. 217recovery.com is our website. Watch for the wedding video. It should be there tomorrow.
Yay.
I don't know what time you're going to go check out our website, but it'll be there. Check it out. Share the podcast with your friends. Maybe you know someone who needs it. Maybe you're like us and you think we're really cool people. We appreciate that. There's also a donation button. You can donate to get somebody to treatment safely. $25 to get them there. More details on that. Everything, like I said, online, 217recovery.com. Thanks to Fan and Hope Not Handcuffs. And thanks to you for listening today.
Thanks, everybody.